record recording. Hi, Vince. Morning and afternoon to you. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Lubos. How are you?
I'm a bit tired, but that's okay. That's
You've had a
okay.
busy weekend.
It was busy. It was a bit of a surreal experience, but we missed you very much. What were you doing on Saturday night?
I actually logged on, and for some reason, I came on as a woman with pink hair, and I tried to change my character, but I couldn't. I could change a hat, but I couldn't change the fact that I had pink hair and I was a woman. So I don't know if that was deliberate. You might have seen Vince Frost kind of walking around or crying somewhere in a corner, probably.
Okay, I'll check whether we have some footage of that. Actually.
I was there earlier and I kept running through as you walk in, there's like a bridge to the entrance. And every time I went through the door, I'd fall down into water or something. I don't know. It was very funny. I presume I was there before it started, and that's why.
Yeah, probably.
But I looked on Instagram and people were dancing. I saw the footage of people dancing, obviously at intervals and stuff like that. It looked awesome.
It was not as awesome as it is in person, but it definitely was awesome. And the question directed to you was, if the world gets back to normal, will you come visit us and do this talk in person? Jump into the water in person?
Yes, so I would love to. I would love to do that. Barcelona is like one of my favorite places, and I know that David's mentioned a few times about coming out there over the last few years. I just wasn't available to do that, but we're able to do it via this remote situation, which is obviously not. It's a surreal experience for everybody involved, I think. But yeah, love to come.
Definitely. Okay, good to hear. I'm going to go into a couple of questions. There are maybe a little bit more about your work. I'll start with one that's quite, say, lighter, and that would be in the last 5 years. What is the project that you're most proud of or fond of that you've done?
Really good question. I often answer this with the work that we're doing right now is, for me, often the work that I find the most exciting. So across the collective, there's about 40 people in my company, in my team. So they're working on a whole array of projects: hospitals, universities, insurance companies, and cultural programs, big property developments, small property developments, etc. Project I'm working on personally is the new Ronaldinho documentary, which I guess quite poignant for this conversation. So I'm doing that with the Douglas brothers, who are great friends of mine, who are directors that were in London when I was there, but now they live in LA. And so we're just working. They've just been filming a documentary on him and his life, called "The Happiest Man in the World," and I've been doing the titles, designing the titles in Sydney. They're being animated in London, and they're being edited in LA. So it's kind of a really cool project.
Okay. I have a question about your experience in Pentagram, and that is you being the youngest, still the youngest, when you passed through there. How did that? Was that important? Is it still important? The word youngest?
I think that's on my CV. I'm not sure if I'm still I'm definitely the youngest now. But I don't know if there's been people since who are become associate partners that are younger than 27. I think I was at the time. You asking me, was it a good experience or the fact that I was the youngest?
Both of them. Both of those things are important.
I think at the time it was such a whirlwind experience, because really I was just working hard like everybody else was. And certainly at 27 and 55 today, I still feel like I don't know enough. I still feel like I'm not there. I still feel like I've got so much more to do and so much more to learn. So, if I kind of rewind that, and being 27 and in that situation, I guess I realized now how naive I was, but equally how there was kind of beauty in naivety. I think it protected me from the true fear that I should have been feeling.
Okay.
But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was hard work, and a big kind of responsibility that I think I wasn't quite ready for, and that's why I went away and started my own business. I felt like I needed to get more experience that I could bring back to them, but I didn't come back because I got my own business. I got momentum happening around that.
So you were planning to go back?
Yeah, that was my plan originally. Yeah, I thought I needed to go out there and make a name for myself and then come back with all this work, because basically I didn't have any work to do, because being an associate partner, you've got to find your own projects unless one of the partners can give you things to do. But like in any organization, there's a whole bunch of designers who are partners who are all busily keeping their teams busy, so they need the work. So quite often, I wasn't handed any projects, that's for sure. And that's where I felt really exposed, and I felt like I needed to go out and find a way of attracting work and attracting business to feed me, and then be able to feed a team that I would develop over time.
And did that word youngest did that give you courage? Was it in some ways important?
Youngest.
Or did you not reflect on it at the time at all?
No, I always think about everything very, very heavily. I think about things a lot. So I kind of, at the time, I just thought this was just happening, and I needed to kind of ensure that I came out in a good situation, that I didn't let anybody down, that I just, I found my way through that. So what happened was it's made me now, even to this day, super focused on new business. I'm like new business overdrive, because, without any work, we're out of business. We very much rely on our clients, and need of our clients to kind of find us and connect with us and give us opportunities is really what it's all about.
So does that mean, or this is a question actually about your role in the studio, does that mean that your role within your own studio is more of a associate partner finding business, or are you still a designer as well?
Well, I've been, like I said in the video, I've been designing ever since I was at design school, and I've made the shift over the last probably 5 years of shifting more towards the CEO of running the business, from being the group creative director, who I was before. And so I was involved previously in every single project going on in the business, and there'd be hundreds of projects going on, which allowed me to be, I guess, very versatile, be able to delegate, be able to work closely with my different teams. And, I got good at doing a whole bunch of different things. But what it did was it took me off the focus of the direction of the business. And as a result, the business, sometimes fluctuate in terms of where it was going, because it was being very reactive to the work and to the opportunities. And it kind of wore me down that. So over time, I wanted to focus on coaching on learning how to become a better leader, a better CEO. So in a way, designing myself out of that situation into a better situation, which was what my focus was. And so I got a great team, incredible team that work in the studio and remotely today. And I get involved in some projects, and I have some projects I work on individually, and my podcast, and the Defrosts, which are live webinar events. Not on the scale of your one, of course, but they're only an hour. And actually, I know how much work goes into that, so I don't know how you guys pulled that off. That's massive. So yeah, I mean, I just a business is a living entity, and there are so many different things that need to happen in a business to make sure that you stay in business. And relationships, HR, hiring people, creating a culture, the physical space, the websites, the marketing, all that. There's a whole bunch of things, as you know, that goes into the daily business of running a design company.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I will go into another question from the public, which is about writing and design. And the question is, what is it for you, writing in design? Escribir en diseño.
So writing design?
Yeah.
You mean writing as in copy or book or what?
Yeah, that's what the question is. Yes. Sorry.
That's all right. That's okay. I mean, I think if it's about like when I used to design a lot of magazines, it was very important for me to work with a really strong writer, a strong editor. And if not, I would write the headlines myself. A big magazine a long time ago, which was a Spanish publication, actually. There was no headline as such, and I had to make them up myself. So the writing and the design was, I needed to kind of create a situation where they were one, that the audience or the reader or the viewer who were looking at the design, they saw the continuity or the idea or the flow of the story, etc. So writing is so important. Storytelling is so important. Whether it's on Instagram or whether it's in print or whether it's digital or physical. So I think that communication is really what it's all about, really. And so in terms of I wrote a book on designing your life. If that's what that person is also referring to, I mean, I just think that there's a whole bunch of different ways that we can use design. My design tends to be pretty simple. I like to pare it down from a complicated situation to a simple idea and a simple solution. So it is easy to understand and resonates with people. I'm not good at complex. I mean, I spend a lot of my time trying to simplify things.
Isn't that a role of a designer? Simplifying.
It totally is. It totally is. You're right. It's not that easy, though, is it? I mean, it can be incredibly difficult. Some projects are really easy to just kind of distill an idea and simplify it down, and eliminate kind of the decoration and the noise. And other projects are actually much harder than that. So it's nice to be challenged in different ways.
Absolutely. Working with different breeds always brings different challenges, I guess.
Yeah. And they influence each other as well.
Oh, absolutely. So I have another question from the audience, which is, do you think that the value of design at some point will be understood by everyone in the society? Or do you think this is just going to be a long-lasting, maybe never-ending fight?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And you'd hope by now that the world would get it. You'd hope by now that the world would understand the value of design, the power of design. But I mean, we just continually find ourselves in a situation where we're trying to justify our fees or the time that needs to be taken to do a project. Quite often people are in such a hurry these days, they got no time to do a project properly, thoroughly, I find that incredibly frustrating. And obviously, as new people, younger people coming through who are commissioning design, they don't have that whole legacy, that whole history of the world of design and knowing how to do it. There's young guys and girls, marketing people, whoever they might be, people starting a business. And this is all still very new for them too. So in a way, we as designers and communicators, it's equally our responsibility to help these people along the way and help people understand the best way to get the best solutions out without looking like you're trying to kind of like fleece them, make a lot of money out of them. And it also is an incredibly competitive world. I mean, you get people undercutting all the time, people doing things for free that they should be doing for money. There's a lot going on which continues to kind of make it a very tricky situation, I guess. And it'd be the same in Spain as it would be anywhere in the world.
That's what I wanted to say. It's probably a global thing, but is Australia in this way any special in terms of design companies?
No, I think that when I first was thinking of coming here in 2003, people here in Australia were saying to me, "Oh, Australian clients don't understand design. You really shouldn't come." They're trying to put me off, which they didn't, because the lifestyle's so good. I'm happy with that, and I think opportunities are everywhere, and it's really up to you to find the opportunity, connect the opportunity, and actually turn it into something good. And so I found that there was opportunities here just as they were in London. You can't compare the types of clients, but they still were clients. There still were projects and opportunities. And that's all I need, is somebody needing help. And that makes me really excited and determined to help the person. Versus, and so I find that I'm not sure that Australia's getting more sophisticated in terms of its design. It's still a relatively young country in that regard. But architecture is incredible, interior design, food, aspects of retail, digital. I think there's a lot of great things happening here. So I think that you're starting to kind of start to see a bit of momentum happening around that great work that's being done. But I still find every day you're having conversation with somebody who wants you to do something, who's never commissioned somebody before. I don't think it's ever going to go away until our industry goes away. And I think that might happen in the near future, where AI will change everything, where it's dehumanized, and it's basically kind of solutions, maybe more accurate solutions based on kind of algorithms and a kind of a lack of human involvement. I mean, because everybody in the end wants to have a successful outcome, no matter whether they've commissioned design before or whether it's the first time they've commissioned a design piece. Everybody's ultimately trying to find the way to get the best outcome,
So do you think that design will be mechanized? Do you think that it will be taken over by AI who will be able to predict emotional reactions to it?
Yeah, I think it's well on its way. I mean, look at us now. I mean, this has never happened 10 years ago. And momentum is going, at an incredible speed in terms of the shift of the technology and the exposure to data and the ease of access to anything you want in terms of being able to utilize the information. Baxter, shush. That's my dog being videoed. He's like just woke up and he's just growling and stuff. I think it's people keep saying that creativity will be the last kind of area industry that's affected by it. I just don't think that's true. I think it's actually going to be very much. It already is. You look at how Adobe's utilizing technology and data, etc. Our platform that we work on, they're all connected. I mean, our phones are connected to everything. Everything is interconnected, and we're still designing, rightfully so, with utilizing our intuition and the human utilizing our human senses. But I think we now have an opportunity to fact check those senses with technology, to make sure that we're accurate, as opposed to traditionally you would have done it in a way through people trust you because you've done many projects before. Your instincts, your intuition, etc., will lead you towards a solution. But I bet a lot of designers couldn't guarantee or wouldn't want to guarantee that what they're recommending would be a success. And that's what would be, that's what's tricky. Or that's the opportunity. The opportunity is to start utilizing that technology to prove what you're doing, or to get deeper insights into what, understanding of the opportunity of the brief, to enable you to come up with more accurate solutions.
Yeah. Well,
it sounds cold, but I don't think that I certainly never wanted to not create the best solution or outcome possible, even like 30 years ago. I mean, it was always about trying to get it right. But today we can get it more right than before.
We can see it all over the world with social media and everything else. Data-based or data-driven approaches bring us to better solutions, or better, sometimes worse, but more effective for sure. I hope the figure of designer doesn't go away. I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think there'll be a lot of people doing nothing then.
Before that happens, just last question, and that would be, what is it that you're working on right now?
Well, as I said, I was just working on the Ronaldinho titles for. Did I mention that in the interview, or was that prior to that?
I think it was already in the interview.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm doing that again. So I'm working on that still since 15 minutes ago. What am I doing? I'm personally working on that. I'm working on a new restaurant for a well-known chef here in Australia, which I can't say who it is and what it is, but it's a really exciting project. We're working on a new restaurant for OzHarvest, which is an incredible organization here in Australia, right across Australia. It's run by a lady called Ronnie Khan, and she basically rescues food from restaurants and hotels and from supermarkets. She collects this food and she redistributes it to people in need. And I think there's something like 2 million people across Australia that need, food. And, a lot, surprisingly, in a country so rich, there is that situation. And we're working with her on this new restaurant, it's a refectorio based in Crown Street. And that's actually going to be a place for people to come for a free meal. But it's very much a restaurant, and they'll be treated with respect and dignity, etc. And I think it's just a wonderful project. So we're working on that. And I'm in the process of working on Design Your Life retreat. So my book, Design Your Life, and my podcast is all about helping people, help them live a better life, and exposing them to, I guess in a way, our design principles, our design process in terms of solving problems. And we're going to be doing workshops with people, a couple-day workshops around unpacking your vision, unpacking your values, a bit of yoga, a bit of food in terms of eating well, have a chef there kind of teach people how to eat well and nutrition, life goals, a whole bunch of things like that, which I think it's a fun project, and I'm looking forward to interacting with people who are, again, looking for help, and looking for finding their way through this, at times, kind of complicated world that we live in.
Absolutely. I actually wanted to rephrase that because we were talking about future, and I thought, okay, maybe I should ask you what project you would want to work or do in the future. Maybe that's something you want to say.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's like, again, I kind of feel like I said before, when people say, "What project would you really like to work on?" or "What's the best project you've worked on?" And I always say it's the latest project, and it's something that we're doing now. when someone says to me, "Oh, what would you like to do? What would be your dream project? What would you like to do in the future?" It's like I can't even think about that. I'm very much I just respond to what connects with me now. So when, like tomorrow, there'll be projects that come in that I had no idea existed until they do, and I get really excited about those projects. I get really excited about the potential of those projects, and I think that if we can all move towards kind of designing a better world and playing our part in helping society improve, whether that's kind of designing things better, designing more sustainable outcomes, designing well-being, designing happiness, doing whatever it takes to actually design a positive outcome, not just financial, but a positive outcome where we all feel better, if we're happier, and we can hopefully live longer together as a result. So any project that kind of has really ambitious goals and a project that wants to do well, like I find that more frequently now, that people kind of knock on our door who really want help in terms of being more sustainable, or who are determined to do the right thing, but not necessarily sure what is the right thing or how to do it. So we work with our team, but also we bring in other people into helping that happen. And it's all kind of relatively new for everybody too. It's not like we're the experts, but we're determined to find a way. We're determined to design a way through this to get to and learn from this as we go, which is, I think, the exciting thing about life is that it's a really big, long learning process,
Well, that is a perfect way of finishing an interview, I think. So Thank you very much, Vince, for doing this, and thank you so much for being part of Blanc 2020. We definitely hope to see you here in the future.
I'd love to. Thank you so much. You guys have done such a great job as well. I mean, it's highly professional, and I definitely felt for you guys when COVID started to happen, because you were going to do it obviously live earlier. Was it this time of year? Same time, I guess, was it?
Yeah, same.
And as I said, I know, I've been to a lot of events around the world. I know how much massive amount of energy goes into these things behind the scenes that people probably don't appreciate. But I definitely appreciate, all the effort that you guys have done, and also bringing design not only to Barcelona, to Spain, but to the world, because obviously you have by doing it the way you did it, you open up the whole world to the Blanc Festival, which is really cool too. And yeah, I'd love to come there again. I'm missing Spain. I'd love to come over there, whenever there's an opportunity.
Hopefully that will be soon.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's kind of funny, isn't it? Us all being kind of tied down and not able to fly. Are you guys in lockdown now?
We just went into some sort of lockdown, yes.
Yeah,
okay, we're going to stop recording.